December 3rd, 2016. The Last of Us Part 2 is announced at the PlayStation Experience event to thunderous applause which could be heard from blocks away from the Anaheim Convention Center. For fans of Naughty Dog's award-winning narrative-driven single-player games, the excruciating wait of 3 years, 6 months, and 16 days came to an end with the game's release on June 19, 2020. Just 5 short months later, it would win 7 of 10 nominations at the Game Awards, including the highest honor in gaming, Game of the Year. As for fans of Naughty Dog's The Last of Us Factions, the unheralded yet surprisingly unrivaled multiplayer experience, the agonizing wait continues. But not for long. You see, I strongly believe that Naughty Dog is finishing up its most ambitious and highly anticipated multiplayer project, and I will now present you with clear, verifiable evidence that supports this claim. So make yourself comfortable, drop a like, hit a notification bell, and grant me the next 10 minutes or so to put some of your Factions 2 anxieties at ease. Naughty Dog is completely aware that it created one of the most compelling multiplayer experiences to ever grace a PlayStation 4 console. They've witnessed their unheralded Factions multiplayer mode maintain an active player base for over 7 years, and outlive many other dedicated multiplayer games with significantly more technical and promotional resources. One such example is their very own Uncharted 4 multiplayer, which actually has 2 games supporting it. We should remember that a new Factions multiplayer experience was a part of The Last of Us Part 2 since the very beginning, and was officially announced exactly 2 years prior to The Last of Us Part 2's eventual release date. This all sounds great so far, right? So what happened? Well, sometime between this official announcement in June of 2018 and September 26, 2019, the annual community event formerly known as Outbreak Day, Naughty Dog decided to split the single-player story and the multiplayer component into 2 separate games. As I first documented in my A Tale of Two Games video, this day became known as Heartbreak Day, as many Last of Us fans who had been eagerly awaiting a multiplayer reveal were instead treated to a cryptic tweet that the multiplayer was ambitious, but would not be part of The Last of Us Part 2, nor would it be revealed anytime soon. The news was a huge disappointment, and the timing honestly could not have been any worse.
It's a valid point.
Sony and Naughty Dog have officially remained silent on the future of Factions since that tweet, and every major PlayStation event since has only added to the heartache. If you were one of the 1,500 people watching my livestream on The Last of Us Day, you witnessed this disappointment in the chat firsthand. Now, some of you may be asking, why doesn't Naughty Dog just announce it already? And the answer is twofold: NDAs and Sony. A non-disclosure agreement, NDA, is a legally enforceable contract that establishes confidentiality between 2 parties, the owner of the protected information and the recipient of that information. The NDA agreement protects trade secrets by limiting the way it can be used or disclosed. The NDAs in this case are likely not only to prevent leaks, but to also ensure that Naughty Dog is working in concert with other Sony Studios properties by orchestrating the timing of game reveals and release dates. As I mentioned in my Last of Us Day livestream, Sony only wants their studios directly competing with one another at award shows, not on the sales charts. This is also why the official reveal of Factions follow-up will be formally announced by Sony. As the parent company, they are responsible for managing all Naughty Dog game reveals. We're now 6 months removed from the release of The Last of Us Part 2, with no major gaming event or PlayStation State of Play in sight. So what makes me so confident that a standalone Last of Us based multiplayer is nearing the end of its development and will be announced soon? It's the same answer as I've given before: jobs. This month, Naughty Dog posted 34 different job openings, and an insightful look into some of the specific details of 4 of these positions will give us clear evidence that a multiplayer is well on its way to being announced in the coming weeks. The first position I want to bring to your attention is the most obvious of them all, the Online Systems Programmer position. A look at the job summary unveils a key sentence that they are looking for someone who is passionate about online games and is willing to jump into a variety of systems, including server technologies, core game networking, matchmaking, player data storage, and virtual store transactions. Here's 3 important details I feel we should strongly consider and expand upon. First is matchmaking. While a purely co-op PvE multiplayer experience, like Ghost of Tsushima Legends, would have some form of matchmaking, I believe this is likely more indicative of a PvP, or dare I say, PvPvE multiplayer format, where refined matchmaking systems are invaluable for increasing long-term player engagement. Next is player data storage. This could indicate anything from saving player character customizations and unlocks, all the way to saving player progression over console generations, indicating some form of crossplay between the PS4 and PS5. Many of us began playing factions on PS3, but had to start over once we began playing on the PS4, and this feature could potentially eliminate that inconvenience. The last detail I want to touch on is virtual store transactions. Now, I'm sure some people will see this and instantly devolve into some incoherent rant on how much they hate microtransactions, but for me, I see this more as evidence of a battle pass. And with a battle pass, you will have advancements in player customization, frequent game updates, and all the DLC that goes along with that. Overall, I think this single job posting alone speaks volumes on the multiplayer to come. Now, would you kindly take a look at the UI scripter/programmer job listing, specifically the line under Experience and Skill, which states, experience with game HUD, navigation display, inventory systems, and other player progression systems. These are essential components of a strategic/tactical multiplayer and are all present in the current Factions multiplayer mode. This listing, I feel, is a sneaky, slightly hidden listing for a multiplayer UI scripter/programmer. It even lists experience developing multiplayer games in the bonus skills section. We'll discuss why the position being temporary is important after taking a look at the next two listings. The third job listing of interest is the QA tester/development support, which is another temporary assignment, basically a 6-month contract. I haven't highlighted anything from this listing, so why is this important? Naughty Dog loves to rigorously QA the hell out of their games, which is a reason why their games are so damn polished at launch. Yes, I'm looking at you, Cyberpunk. The fact Naughty Dog is hiring more temporary QA staff to 6-month contracts tells me that they are in the latter stages of development, possibly looking to complete functionality testing and potentially move towards offering a closed, not open beta testing before the official launch date. A slightly different roadmap compared to what they did with Uncharted 4's multiplayer. The final listing I will be showing you is yet another temporary assignment, a video editor position. Allow me to ask you this. What is the primary reason a company would hire a temporary video editor? For me, the answer is simple, to help promote a new game, and it's right there in the first sentence. Editing trailers/marketing materials for single player and multiplayer mode, utilizing captured game footage. I think it's safe to say a company would hire someone into this temporary position because they're gearing up for a marketing campaign. So if the details of those 4 job postings haven't convinced you that the multiplayer is A, being worked on, and B, will be announced in the first half of 2021, then perhaps this last bit of information will. Attentive viewers will have noticed that over the past few months that Naughty Dog lead game designer Vinith Agrawal was quietly promoted to co-game director. I believe his well-deserved promotion has yet to be formally acknowledged by Naughty Dog, because obviously the game he's directing must be publicly revealed first. In his own words, I am primarily a multiplayer designer who has helped ship portions of Naughty Dog's single-player experiences in time of need. I deeply believe in holistic game design, where the mechanics of the game synergize with the design of the world to make for a compelling, immersive experience. My strongest assets are my deep technical background, leadership skills, and raw ambition that drive my ability to achieve something fresh and new that the industry hasn't seen before. To me, there is no question Vinith is a co-director of the follow-up to Factions. I genuinely love that Naughty Dog has continued the co-director approach that served The Last of Us Part 2 so well, and resulted in Kurt Marganow and Anthony Newman winning Director of the Year at the 2020 Game Awards. While there is no public record of who currently shares the co-director position with Vinith, my guess would be that it's the lead multiplayer designer of The Last of Us Factions, Aaron Daly. These two are incredibly brilliant, talented, and thoughtful individuals who share a profound passion and understanding of multiplayer experiences. The future of Factions is in very, very good hands. So this leaves one incredibly important question to be answered. When? Based off the length of the temporary assignment positions, my estimation would be that we are likely to see an official announcement by Sony in the next 3 to 4 months. As with any game, the release date is likely in flux, but my estimates would be around the fall of 2021. They may very well set it on September 26th, The Last of Us Day, as a thoughtful gesture of acknowledgement after 2 years of disappointment for factions enthusiasts during the community's biggest event of the year. In conclusion, I feel 2021 is going to be a tremendous year for multiplayer enthusiasts. You see, while I was co-streaming the Game Awards a few weeks ago, I noticed 2 main themes that continuously appeared throughout the entire show: community and multiplayer. It was brought up numerous times that this ongoing pandemic has driven us into physical isolation, but inspired us to connect in new ways through shared multiplayer experiences. It's why we witness a huge popularity growth of simple multiplayer games like Among Us, Fall Guys, and Animal Crossing. I love rich storytelling in single-player games that enthrall and invite you into a new way of perceiving the world, but thus far I found that there is no substitute for the authentically shared multiplayer experiences that you can have with another living person. The Last of Us Factions is an incredibly special multiplayer, which has exceeded the expectations of those who created it and those who still play it 7 years after its release. All signs are pointing towards its successor doing the same. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me today. And before you go, I'd love to know if you are convinced that Naughty Dog is working on Factions 2 and when you think it'll be announced. Also, I never asked this, but if you enjoyed this video, please consider sharing it on your social media to help spread the word that good news appears to be well on its way. Alright, with that having been said, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Cheers.